back once again with us, Steve Doocy. You've seen him on Fox and Friends, and now he's here with us today on Traders Nation. Steve, welcome to Traders Nation. How are you today?
Kurt, it's nice talking to you again. Great, thank you.
My pleasure, Steve. You may or may not know this. The last interview that you did with us actually ended up in a movie by Sony and Columbia Pictures, Pineapple Express, in one of the scenes, all right?
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. I'll call you at home later on. I'll tell you all about it if you're interested. But listen, stick with us, Doocy. We'll make you famous, okay? All right, now let's talk about sales from the dad side. Are those really your children on the front cover?
What do you think, I'm going to put your kids on the cover of my book, Kurt?
They wouldn't stand that still.
those are my three kids. For you folks listening on the radio right now, there's a picture of me today wearing pajamas and reading the New York Times, which killed me. And then behind me, I've got my children from years ago. They're all about 5 and 6 years old. You got Peter, Mary, and Sally, or PMS, as I discovered were the initials of my children.
Nice.
When I asked for, I went to the jewelry store and I said, I need a necklace for my wife. Let's engrave it.
Sure.
Okay, sure. What are their initials? Well, there's a P, M. Oh, no.
It's amazing.
Oh, no. My children are a punchline.
That's right, Steve. Isn't it amazing how you find out things and they just seem to happen like that? I don't know how you got your feet to bend that way, but congratulations. I tried, and it put me in traction for 3 weeks. All right? I am, once again, for you folks listening on the radio, I am almost legs akimbo in that particular shot. Yeah, believe it or not, we're also on cable and television. We've grown up since then, since the last time we talked to you, and people they actually get to see it now. Now, listen, let's talk about this. It's amazing how we can almost tell what our children may grow up to be. For instance, I'll give you an example. One of mine is a negotiator, and the other one really has a common sense. He's like a thinker. Is that what we find out as parents, especially as fathers?
Well, you got to listen. In the beginning, all you want is your kid to grow up with 5 fingers on each hand and 5 toes on each foot.
Right.
And all we can do is we can show them the way. They can watch us, and then they have to, eventually you come to the end of the road, and it's kind of like, okay, get out of the car, go to college. Here's a bunch of cheesy crackers.
Sure.
Learn something, and then you're going to get a job.
Right.
And even though I have encouraged my child, Peter, look, television, broadcasting, it is a hard business to get into.
Sure.
It is a hard business to keep a job in. He sees me and he thinks, oh, please, if my dad can do it, anybody can do it.
That's right. We can come in that's right. We come in one day on a Friday, you think everything's great. You get your check, you come in on Monday, and it's like, where did everybody go? Right? That's the kind of business we're in, but that's all right. Listen, a child's first day in kindergarten, it really is a moment that a parent will never forget. And we have pictures to prove it, don't we, Steve?
We absolutely do. It is terrifying to drop your kid off for kindergarten. Immediately from the beginning, because you know that if your child does not get good grades in kindergarten, they won't get into a good high school, which means they won't get into a good college, which means they won't get a good job, which means that they won't get into the good country club to meet the people to be able to get fantastic jobs where they will have corner offices and then be able to support you, the parents, in a luxury condo in Boca Raton.
Right.
So it all comes down to kindergarten, and doggone it, that kid better be taken care of in the class, or there's going to be hell to pay for the parents.
That's exactly right. And in the end, Steve, it is us that will be paying for it, because we'll never be able to get them out of the house, so we'll be stuck with them forever and a day. And I don't know if that's what we want.
Listen, here's the thing. What I have noticed is with my son Peter, when he went to college a couple of years ago, he was finally at the stage where he was an interesting person and about my speed, and he was my best friend. And suddenly, after raising him for 18 years, poof, he moves. Hey, wait a minute. We just grew this kid in a laboratory situation here so that he would be pretty much identical to me, and now he's gone. Well, so I am encouraging all of my children to please, after college, try to get a job in the New York City area, live at our house don't bring any boyfriends or girlfriends home.
Yeah,
That's not the kind of place this is.
Doocy.
But I want you to come home and live.
Let's talk about that. It's awkward to sex talk. I don't know if I'm really up to that. I've got an 8 and 12-year-old. My 12-year-old, he hides his head and yells out chips and salsa whenever there's a romantic scene on TV. What do I do?
Listen, I found out about the birds and the bees during a detention when I was in 7th grade.
Nice.
I was at a middle school that also had a high school attached to it.
Yeah.
And so I thought I knew, my mom and parents had never really told me about the birds and the bees thing, and I sat there in slack-jawed amazement as the senior boys were describing this thing that was going on, and I was thinking, that's impossible. Why would people do that? No way. So fast forward a generation, my son was going to spend the summer in England with his cousin, and I chose the exact moment that we were at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
It was during the 7th inning stretch, and I said, Peter, you're going to be leaving tomorrow. You might meet a girl who sounds like Kate Winslet. So listen. And he goes, Dad, we don't have to talk about this right now. And I said, no, you're going to have questions and you're going to have feelings. And he goes, Dad, please, I do not want to talk about this now. And I said, Peter? He goes, Dad, I learned about it in health class, okay?
Right.
Which is the way it is now. Health class, when we were growing up, health class was where they taught you about washing your hands and how to put on a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Now it's graphic sex, and it's talking about sexually transmitted diseases.
Are you serious? Is that what they're teaching? I had to learn that behind the bleacher, Doocy. I didn't. Right?
And then I was thinking back to my son Peter. Wait a minute, health class. That was the only class you got straight A's in. Maybe I should be asking him questions about sex.
That's correct. That's all right.
And that's just really weird.
That's more than weird. All right, now, Doocy, fathers, are they really different from mothers? You talk about that in the book. You say that the truth is fatherhood is like Wikipedia, based on fact, and others just made up along the way. Are we really different?
Yeah, generally we're clueless. At least there are manuals that women read, new moms read, to get a clue. We're guys, for the most part, are egomaniacs. We figure, well, this has got to be the way to do it because even though I haven't read the child instruction manual, it just makes sense to hold him upside down like this.
Yeah. That's the thing, though, is that men don't really read. We're better picture lookers. Okay, maybe that's why the women get along a lot better.
You're probably right.
All right, I don't know what to say. All right, now if there's one thing that really stood out in Tales from the Dad side, what would it be?
I think it would be that, we're doing the best we can.
Yeah.
So take your best shot, dads. And at the end of the day, even though things may have gone wrong, have a laugh about it. This is a funny book that people, it's not just for dads. It's a family book written from the dad's side. And here's one other thing about it, particularly this week, because Veterans Day this week.
Yes.
For every copy of my book, Tales from the Dad Side, that people buy, I'm making a donation to the Wounded Warriors Project.
Nice.
And these guys, they've given so much for our country, and, we can't forget about them, particularly as the war winds down, we pray.
Yeah.
So you got to get Dad something for Christmas anyway. Buy him something a couple of weeks early.
Yeah.
Help your dads. Help the warriors. Tales from the Dad Side is the name of the book. You'll love it, and if you don't, please don't tell me.
Don't let me know. Let O'Reilly know. He can handle it. What's with that interview with O'Reilly? I thought he was absolutely fantastic when he took Barney Frank on. Huh? What are your thoughts about that, real quickly?
All I know is when I yell that loud, I need a lozenge.
That's correct. Now, give us a website of where we can find a copy of Tales from the Dad Side and where people can help out when it comes to the veterans.
Absolutely. dadside.com. Tales from the Dad Side at dadside.com. All
right, and then, of course, also we can get a copy of Tales from the Dad Side from Barnes & Noble, Amazon.com, where?
Absolutely. BJ's, any place where you buy books. And as I said a moment ago, this week, wherever you get it, I'm making a cash donation to the Wounded Warriors Foundation. So go out and buy 3 dozen, because I know Kurt's going to.
That's correct. I've got 3 dozen on order already. Now listen, Doocy, if you're interested, I can give you a jingle later on and tell you exactly what part in Pineapple Express that our interview did. You may recall that somebody in the bedazzle suit broke your nose during a break. All right?
Yes.
Steve Doocy, folks. You see him on Fox and Friends here on Traders Nation today. Steve, pleasure having you with us here today.
Thanks, Kurt.
You're more than welcome. Steve Doocy, folks.